Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing, starting off with some comfortable conditions out there this morning and slightly breezy winds with some mostly cloudy skies, and expecting those conditions to pretty much continue as we move through the day today. We'll see a low end chance of seeing a wind advisory at times today. Otherwise, seeing dry weather prevail and those comfortable temperatures continuing. Our next chance for active weather comes in as we get into our Wednesday. That's when we'll see rain showers likely, and even a chance of some thunderstorms in the area, as well as some very windy conditions with wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour possible. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, we do have this area of high pressure that is in control over the eastern part of the country, slowly starting to move off to the east. It's going to bring this tighter pressure gradient over the region, and as we move through today and into tomorrow. So that's when we're going to gradually see winds continuing to increase as we get into our Wednesday. Out here, this area of low pressure, well off to our west, is going to be our next weather maker moving into the area as we get into Wednesday. The area of low pressure itself will track north, but will bring a fairly strong boundary through our area with some showers and storms possible along that. Current conditions, just a few clouds around 8,500 feet and a broken deck at 11,000 feet. Winds are out of the south-southwest, 12 knots, gusting up to 20 knots, temperature 45 degrees, and our relative humidity is at 76%. Taking a look at the current visible satellite, we can see that 11,000-foot cloud layer pretty socked in over much of the peninsula, and should see that start to break up and move out as we get later in the morning, or more so into the afternoon, but we'll continue to see these high clouds building in. So most likely seeing filtered sun as we get into the afternoon, and continuing into the evening, we'll see additional clouds building in ahead of that next system by the time we get to the start of the day on Wednesday. If we look at a high resolution model, see how things play out for the next 24 to 36 hours, we'll see dry conditions as mentioned moving through the day today. Slightly breezy conditions, again, a slight chance we could see wind advisory at times, but dry, comfortable temperatures. Slightly above average for this time of year, and will stay mild as we move through the overnight time frame. And we'll start to see those winds becoming stronger as we get into the early morning hours of Wednesday, and more so towards the start of the day on Wednesday. A good chance of seeing a wind advisory by the time we start our day for Wednesday, and then that wind advisory will be likely as we continue through the day, as we do expect those winds to really increase as we move through the day. Strong sustained winds, and again, those peak gusts possibly up to 50 miles per hour, particularly as this boundary starts to approach. We'll have a low end chance of seeing a shower around, maybe a sprinkle for the morning hours, but it looks like the rain will hold off until we get into the afternoon. More likely mid-afternoon, there around 2 o'clock or thereafter. As you can see, the NAM model here is a bit of the slower solution, with the shower activity really pushing through as we get more towards the 4 p.m. time frame. Other models indicate possibly a little bit earlier with that activity. As you can see here with the simulated reflectivity showing some strong cells within this rain shower activity that pushes through, so that's given a chance of some heavier rain showers within this, and again we'll see a chance for some thunderstorms with this as well, so possibly some lightning in the area. The Storm Prediction Center does have a slight risk for severe weather over the region for this time period, so we could see any storm possibly becoming on the stronger side with even stronger wind gusts. So will be a windy day, and then this boundary of showers starts to push through as we go into the evening with some lingering showers early in the evening. Then we should see things start to dry out as the cold front itself starts to push into the area, shifting those winds, but keeping clouds around and breezy conditions for the first part of the evening, staying slightly breezy through the entire evening with the winds weakening slightly. And then as we get into the day on Thursday, we'll see dry conditions and plenty of clouds still around the area, but things will be dry, and we will continue to see some breezy conditions. So likely seeing a wind advisory issued continuing through the overnight time frame and into the day on Thursday. So if we look at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we do have a yellow risk for those winds at or above 25 knots as we move through daytime hours today, so that wind advisory criteria, low end chance of that, expecting those winds out of the south, maybe south-southwest, 10 to 15 knots, with those peak gusts up around 22, 23 knots, so just below that threshold, but again, could see brief periods of a wind advisory as we move through the day today. Our high temperature expected around 56 degrees, so about 6 degrees above average for this time of year. And should see that mid-level cloud deck break up a bit as we get into the afternoon, but keeping those high clouds around moving through those afternoon hours. And then going into the evening, we'll continue to see slightly breezy conditions out of the south, with those south winds picking up as we move through the early morning hours of Wednesday. As you can see, we once again pick back up a yellow risk for winds that are above 25 knots, increasing to an orange risk by the time we get into the start of the day on Wednesday, with those peak gusts to start the day up around 26 knots. So good chance of seeing a wind advisory as we get into the start of the day. We'll also see our low temperature early with a low around 47 degrees, because we'll see those clouds increasing and those breezy conditions going to keep those temperatures from falling too low. We'll see some mid and lower level clouds building in, likely seeing a ceiling around 2,000 feet as we start the day on Wednesday. Tides are running normal, and Wednesday again is when we'll see that active weather moving into the area. Cloudy, slight chance of a isolated sprinkle during the morning hours, but the rain really starts to move in as we get again between that 2 to 4 p.m. time frame for the afternoon. And we will see a chance for some thunderstorms with this activity, and again could see some heavier rain showers at times and possibly a stronger thunderstorm with that slight risk for severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center. So we do have that red risk for precip, a yellow risk for lightning, and a yellow risk for those reduced ceilings and visibilities with that activity. And again, we will see very windy conditions, even without the storms. Could see those gusts up between 40 and 50 miles per hour, and any potential stronger storm could potentially push off some stronger wind gusts with that. So we do have a red risk continuing for our winds at or above 25 knots. We'll see fairly mild temperatures with a high around 59 degrees. Wednesday evening, we'll see lingering activity around the area as it gradually pushes off the coast. So keeping an orange risk for precip and yellow risk for lightning and reduced ceilings and visibility. Again, that will be for the first part of this time period, and then those showers should push off the coast, but will remain breezy for the windy for the first part of this time period, and then continue with breezy conditions through the overnight time frame. So keeping a red risk for winds that are above 25 knots. Low expected around 45 degrees. And then Thursday, we're back down to more seasonable temperatures, continuing with mostly cloudy conditions as well as some breezy conditions. So likely seeing a wind advisory continuing through the day on Thursday, and then we could see some decreasing clouds as we get later in the day and into the evening time frame, with a high expected around 52 degrees. That's going to wrap up the 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. to take a look at the extended forecast. Enjoy your morning.